video, I'm going to show you how to make turkey scallopini. And it's so funny because turkey is one of those things I think that we don't like, or that we only think we like during the holidays. And I want to show you a really great weeknight, weekend recipe that you can do to enjoy turkey when you get tired of chicken or beef or something like that and you want an alternative. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on my saute pan here. And I want it on a pretty low heat, and I have some prosciutto here that I've diced up that I'm just going to go right into the pan with, right? And what I want to do is I want to render the prosciutto. And basically when you say render something is you want to cook it over a medium-low heat until you're basically getting all of the fat to release itself, and then you're getting the meat to crisp up. If you were to fry this, okay, then it would get crispy, but most of the fat would still be attached to the meat. So we're gonna render that, okay? And now, while that's over here rendering, let's slide this out of the way. Dangerous. So basically what I've got here is I've got some flour that I've already seasoned with some salt and some pepper. So I'm just tossing that together, and we're gonna just leave that like that. We're gonna turn this up some. And what I wanna do in the meantime is I wanna take my turkey breast cutlets. Now I bought a whole turkey breast and made the cutlets myself, but if your grocery store or market already has pre-made turkey cutlets, definitely go in that direction and already save yourself some time and some energy. So I've got my turkey cutlets here, and what I wanna do is I wanna season them with a little bit of salt and pepper. So I've got some salt here, and even though there's salt and pepper in the flour, I still want to season these lightly. Okay, salt on that side, fresh cracked black pepper on this side. And I have them on a paper towel. Ooh, the oven is preheated. Okay, I have them on a paper towel because wet meat does not brown, okay? And we're gonna want these to brown. And so now I'm just gonna flip them over, okay? And I'm seasoning both sides because I like flavor on both sides of my food. I don't know about you, but I like flavor on both sides. So we're just gonna flip these over, and I'm going to season them on the other side. And the reason I season up high like this and season like I'm seasoning the whole counter is because it actually allows me to evenly distribute the salt across the meat without using a ton of salt. If I was to come in really close, I get really big pockets of salt, and then I've got to use more and more salt to evenly season the meat. So just like that, and then a little bit more crushed black pepper. Just like that. All right, let's make sure. Oh, I turned the flame off, guys. All right, so now while that's hanging out and doing its thing, I'm gonna take this flour and I'm basically just going to bread my turkey breast cutlets. So I'm just gonna go in with my cutlets, same hand, right? So I can have a floury, dirty hand and then a clean hand. And I'm just gonna bread them in our flour. You could use all-purpose flour, whole wheat flour, unbleached, all-purpose. I think whole wheat would actually be really good because it'll give it a nice nuttiness if you wanted to add that in there. And then you want to shake off the excess. And I'm just going to wait until our pancetta finishes cooking down. But I'm going to flour the rest of these right in there. And what's great is we're going to serve this with some buttered noodles with some onion, and it's going to have this wonderful broth on it. It's going to be so good. So I'm just removing our pancetta that we've cooked down out of the pan. It's nice and crispy, like meat cracked, delicious, salty, popcorny, meaty, delicious goodness, okay? And as you can see, it's nice and crispy. We're just putting it into our oven-proof pan. And as you can see, it's released its fat. And so this is what we're going to cook the turkey cutlets in. And if you're not a fan of pancetta, and if I keep calling it prosciutto, I'm sorry, I mean pancetta, you could try to use turkey bacon. It's not gonna give that same wonderful salty bite, but it's definitely an alternative. So we're gonna turn that flame back on. I'm just gonna add a little bit more avocado oil to that. So we've got the renderings from the pancetta. I've just added, you could use grapeseed oil for this, absolutely. You just don't want to use extra virgin olive oil. And so once that's nice and hot, I'm gonna come in and I'm going to take my turkey cutlets that we seasoned with salt and pepper and then put in the flour, salt and pepper. And as you can see, it has really begun to get that flour to stick to it. And I've got my meat as close to room temperature as possible. And what I want to do now is shake off any excess, and then I want to lay the meat in the pan. And I do mean lay it, and I want to lay it away from me because it's going to sizzle just like that. And you want that sizzle, okay? That's how we're going to ensure that we're going to get that beautiful brown color. Now we don't want to overcrowd the pan, okay, because we do want it to get brown and crispy. So you may be, depending on the size of your pan, you may be able only to do 2 or 3 pieces at a time, okay? And so as you can see, each time I'm just laying it away from me so that in the event that it pops or snaps or crackles or whatever, it doesn't get me. And I'm just gonna go with my little skinny piece here, right here on this side. I've got some sliced garlic here, and I've got some tomatoes here. I love using rainbow potatoes. I just think they make everything look pretty, but you can just use red, did I say potatoes? Y'all, tomatoes. But you can just use regular red tomatoes if you want to. And then in here, I've got my chicken stock, my white wine, and my white balsamic vinegar. Listen, when it comes to the white wine, make sure you use something dry and something that you would drink, okay? And I've got unsalted chicken stock, not broth, chicken stock in here, okay? And if you don't have white balsamic vinegar, you could try traditional balsamic vinegar. I'm not gonna make any promises. I love keeping white balsamic vinegar on hand. And so we're going to brown these turkey cutlets. Now, we're not trying to cook them because they're gonna finish in the oven, okay? But we want them nice and brown, and we're building what's called fond on the bottom of the pan. Y'all see the smoke in my face while I'm still trying to talk? Okay, but, turn that flame down a little bit. But what we wanna do is, you notice I haven't been poking around all this kind of stuff or whatever. I want to let them build a nice crust on one side before I flip it over and then get it nice and brown on the other side. And even though it's underdone, we're going to put it in our pan while we make the sauce, and we're going to finish it in the oven, and that way our meat's not dried out. Oh yeah, beautiful golden brown and delicious. Yes, yes, yes. Please do not press on your meat. I love this. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these out, put them right into our oven-proof pan, and then I'm going to finish up the last one, and then I'll show you how to make the sauce. All right, so now we've got our turkey and our prosciutto there, and I'm just gonna add a little bit of butter right into the pan, and then I'm gonna come behind that butter, and the pan is off at the moment, but that's okay. And I'm just gonna swirl that around, and then I'm gonna add our tomatoes right to the pan. How is this bad? Okay, I'm gonna add the tomatoes, and then I'm gonna add the garlic. Now, I'm not gonna salt and pepper this yet, because we've got that salt and pepper that was on the turkey and in the flour and all that, and plus the prosciutto is gonna have a nice little bit of saltiness. So now my flame is back on, and I just wanna cook these tomatoes until they just start to give off their juices. You can smell that garlic. Oh my gosh, it smells so good. Look how beautiful that is, right? And now I'm just gonna take my liquid mixture here, and I'm just gonna pour it right on top. That's the chicken stock, the wine, the white balsamic vinegar, and we just want a BTB, which means bring it to a boil. And then we're gonna pour this right over our turkey and prosciutto that we have in our little pan right here. And it's gonna make this gorgeous sauce, and it's gonna thicken up a little bit from the residual flour that's in the pan and the residual flour that's on the turkey breast cutlets. And we're gonna serve this with some buttered noodles. This is going to be delicious. I mean, you most certainly could serve it with any grain or pasta of your choice, or you could just serve it as meat and sauce in a salad. You know, if you wanted to do that. So we're just gonna BTB, bring this to a boil. which it is boiling now. Just get a nice boil going here. How can this be bad? It's got wine in it. It's got chicken stock and prosciutto and tomatoes. So that's at a boil, and you can really smell that garlic. So I'm just gonna take this now, and I'm gonna pour it right over our turkey breast. Oh my gosh, you guys. That smells so good. This is gonna go into the oven, and we're gonna cook it until the turkey is done, until the sauce thickens a little bit. So I'll show you what it looks like when it's all finished.